And I said, do you think this thing's going to be hostile towards us? And he says, I don't know. And with that, I don't know. I don't want to take chances. So I said to him, well, do you have any weapons? He says, yeah, I have a weapon. And I said, but what do you got? I mean, and then the sergeant turned around and says, he doesn't have any arms to fire anything at him. I said, well, try and scare him out of there. And he said, no, well, I've got a weapon I can use, but it's very close range, and I have to go pretty high and do a dive onto this thing. And he made a dive, and
excuse me, General, what kind of weapon was he referring to?
They were testing, and at that time, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know. They just told me it was a laser beam. I didn't know what a laser beam was at that time.
I see.
Only a year later, I found out what it was really about.
But it was an airborne laser on a F-1 Mirage.
Yes.
Which your country had to be nuclear capable.
Well, yes. I don't want to mention a country, but there was another country who was sponsoring this project.
Sounds like us.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, well...
Normally what happens with the South African... I don't know if the world knows that South Africa is normally... is the third weapons manufacturer in the world. It's the third biggest in the world.
Yeah, it's right up there. No question about it.
Right up there.
Yeah. So he dove his plane and used a laser against this... did he describe the form of this thing? Could he see...
He did. He said, this thing is round, man. It's got no wings and stuff like that. And you must remember, we're not speaking English. We're speaking our home language, which is either Dutch or Afrikaans.
Do you recall at what speed he estimated it?
He estimated it around about close to 700 miles an hour.
In level flight?
In level flight.
In level flight, all right. And it was round, so a disc?
And a disc. He said it was a disc. And I turned around and I said, who the hell is experimenting with discs out here?
Uh-huh.
And the people said, nobody. And I said, well, then I turned around, get up there and see what you can do, bring it down. Let's get it out of here. Because if it's hostile towards the forces on the ground,
right.
I don't want it to get too close to the forces because...
So you basically authorized an attack on this craft.
Well, I had no option. I mean...
I'm not faulting you. I'm just being straight here. You authorized the attack.
That's right.
And then I guess he took the Mirage up and dove on this thing and let it have it with what laser he had on board. And then what?
He hit it. It spins first to the right and then spin to the left. Almost it was hit very hard, and he because he was carrying enormous equipment on it, he couldn't stay long. But by that time, I had another Mirage out there from the north, who was doing a patrol out at Southwest Africa, which is Namibia today, along the Skeleton Coast.
Yes.
Came in and took over from him. For about 20 minutes, this thing just bounced around like a ball. The pilot, couldn't do that.
So it was out of control.
It was out of control. It just bounced around like a ball, and when it eventually it stopped bouncing around. It just slowly went down and hit the ground. And we sent out a helicopter to find out if any survivors. Because I was more concerned about POWs, Russian POWs.
Sure. You've got to remember, everybody, you wouldn't be thinking UFO. Even after that description, you would think that would not be the case, and you'd be, believe me.
I'm thinking aircraft.
Sure.
Like a Russian aircraft or anything. And the problem is, the previous year, they did shoot down some Russian pilots, and it embarrassed the government quite a lot, actually, because the pressure really came on to them.
So you dispatched a helicopter out to the crash site, which was about how far at this point from you?
It took the helicopter about 1,200 miles away from me, where I'm standing, where
Gotcha.
I was standing at the time.
Gotcha.
The helicopter came, developed some mechanical problems just about 2 miles away from it, and it had to land. But there was incision groups. We had recce's on board. We had 4 recce's on board so they can investigate. That's like the Green Parade.
General, do you recall the nature of the mechanical problems, and do you think it was related to what had crashed?
Purely, at the time, I didn't think so. I just thought it was pure, because the helicopters are really run very hard in Africa. They don't sit on the ground. They work very hard.
Gotcha.
And I thought it was one of that. But eventually, it had to be something to do with the crash. And some people complained for months afterwards about when they got too close to this, that they got ill and started vomiting and stuff like that. About 5 hours after the accident, after the incident, they told then we could approach it, but it was glowing like rainbow colors and stuff like that by the time I got there.
It was, say that again, please. It was what?
It was like glowing like a rainbow in different colors, like blues and oranges and greens and stuff like that.
Did that glow extend a long distance from it, or just was the object itself glowing that way?
The object itself was glowing that way.
Gotcha. Estimation of size?
The estimation of size about this is about 12 foot in diameter.
At this point, I assume you're getting reports by radio.
No, I was getting reports, and then I got in touch with the general, which is the commander-in-chief of the forces, and he said, you better get out there and find out what the hell you shot down, because I don't want to have trouble.
Yeah, typical reaction, right?
A typical reaction.
And so you got in a helicopter yourself, or what?
I got into a helicopter, and I have my own team of people who work with me because my real job was anti-terrorism, to run after the terrorists, to put bombs down.
Yes, sir.
And what happened is my team jumped onto to helicopter, and we ran out there, and surprise, surprise, we found around this. But at the time, being ignorant, or I don't know, we're not trained in this kind of stuff.
Of course not.
I didn't know what UFO meant till that time, you know. It didn't exist in my gallery, and all the people around me know what to do with it.
So here's this glowing rainbow-like colors disc, 12 feet roughly in diameter, sitting on the ground, no doubt with some kind of damage, I would assume?
There was eventually the colors went out. They had a damage that had a huge dent about the size of a basketball in the U.S. standard.
That would be the impact of the laser weapon?
With the laser weapon impact, yes.
Okay, and about how long did it take for this glowing to cease?
The glowing from the shooting down time till then, it took about 5 hours. Even then, when we touched it, it hurt. You know,
it hurt, as in what? As in electric shock? As in just pain, or what?
It's like giving you cramps when you touched it.
Like any what?
Like your hand goes numb and getting cramps and pain and all kinds of funny things.
Okay, got it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a bee sting, but it ain't a bee sting. And
ain't a bee sting. General, hold on. A brigadier general from the South African Army, and we are not done. He shot down a UFO, but we're not done. There were things inside.
This is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
And this is one of those moments. Be assured, this would be one of those moments in radio history where you get to do something a little bit different. A brigadier general from the South African Army who ordered the shoot down of a UFO. In a moment, we continue. All right, General, welcome back. Let's pick right up. I mean, here you are out in, I guess it was, what was the lay of the land like where this thing crashed?
It is right. It's pretty near to the Kruger National Park and the borders.
Oh, this was near Kruger National Park.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's pretty. In the area where it fell is also a very restricted area because during the war, this was a heavy patrolled area for soldiers to patrol by foot And many soldiers lost their lives on these patrols against terrorists and insurgents and stuff like they're trying to get into the country to put bombs in the streets.
Understood. All right. So this thing is on the ground, and it's apparently after hours. You waited while the glowing and to touch it, you had heard. So I assume everybody waited until all of this faded, or what happened next?